Thank you so much, Lakshmi, and hello and welcome to this panel discussion. We in Tamil Nadu pride ourselves on being a manufacturing hub. Now, when you look at the presence of manufacturing companies in Tamil Nadu, specifically in and around Chennai, it just made a lot of sense to us to have this panel discussion with women spearheading their respective functions in these companies. And of course, we are delighted to have Nikhil with us. Nikhil will bring a unique perspective when it comes to hiring and retaining top women talent as far as the manufacturing industry is concerned. So thank you, LB, for the data presentation that you gave. Yes, we have both the good and the bad news as far as manufacturing industry is concerned. Very significant strides made towards diversity and inclusion. Still, the areas to improve is there still much ground to cover, especially when it comes to ensuring equal opportunities for women to thrive and advance in this sector. So in this discussion that we are having today, it'll bring about diverse perspectives and experiences to the table. So all the panelists here will be sharing their own experiences. It will look at the challenges that women have faced in their manufacturing career, especially when it comes to traditional male-dominated roles. It'll also look at how companies explore innovative strategies to overcome these hurdles, right? So throughout our discussion today, we'll be delving into topics such as recruitment, retention, importance of mentorship, so on and so forth. So without further ado, I'd like to jump in straight into the panel discussion. So my first question to all the panelists in rotation would be, what specific strategies have you come across in your respective companies where these strategies or initiatives that you see, they've been implemented to attract and retain more women in traditionally male-dominated roles? I'd like first to go across to Prasanna for her to share her experience on this.
Yeah. Good afternoon, all. I hope I am audible and it's clear.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I'm first of all, thanks for this opportunity, and I'm truly honored to be part of this session where I would share certain learnings from my career, where it will definitely, a few of the people can take some certain insights and then take it forward, which is really, I'm very happy to do that today. Specific to my experience in Saint-Gobain, as initially my introduction was done, I am having total 17 years of experience and basically mechanical engineer, and I'm working in mostly in manufacturing in various functions. So what is my experience, particularly what worked very well in Saint-Gobain, particularly in the Bangalore factory where I work with, because generally when we say for the certain policies or certain activities or strategies, it has to be definitely vary demographically from different places, because maybe certain things will suit in particular location, maybe certain things has to be changed or tweaked. Basically, the main strategy would remain same, but at a granular level, whatever we implement would be differ from location to location. So in that way, what worked well for my career path in the last 17 years, particularly to retain, first I would say, because I have retained for the last 13 years in Saint-Gobain. So I would come to the next part of attracting, where actually now companies do many activities to attract the women. On retaining part, for me, it was particularly on the continuous learning and development and professional development, what takes place through throughout my career. So it was like, I would say it was quite naturally, it has happened that I have been recruited in a manufacturing, or I have been taken a career in the manufacturing. It was not a pre-planned one, which has happened, I would say, a decade ago or 10, 15 years ago. But I would say what worked for me very well to get aspire and then work towards manufacturing continuously is mainly the way in which the development of the professional development, which has taken place throughout my career, is one major thing I would say. When I say there are many things to the professional development, it can be training, it can be coaching, it can be mentorship, all these things put together in one bucket. And definitely on the policies part, which is actually refined over a period of time at different stages of the woman's life or my life. So these are the two things which has actually worked for me in my career in terms of my retaining and working continuously. On definitely for attracting the women for this career, I think one such thing would be today, whatever session we are having, this is also to attract the women to come into the manufacturing industry. I would say similarly, there are certain programs which Saint Gobain conducts, campus engagement initiatives. There are social media branding, career steer. Like this week, fortunately, it's a coincidence. This week we are celebrating Careers Week in the Saint Gobain, where we have career talks. All these actually, like where even we call upon employed children to the factories and have a one-to-one connect and make them understand. I think there are numerous things, but retaining, I have an experience because I am working here for last 13 years, but otherwise attracting, I see around what happens. And as initially we heard the percentage of the numbers, I think similarly the percentage of numbers are keep increasing. So that's my take.
Great. Thank you so much. So two things came out. One is that companies, when they provide a atmosphere, an environment of providing continuous learning, and you look at professional development, these two main points came out. And you said you shared that Careers Week is on, and you're looking at doing going across to campuses and having these talks internally. Thank you so much for sharing. Now I'll move on to Nikhil. Nikhil, what in your experience and across the companies that you have worked, especially in ITC, how is that handled?
Sure. So thanks a lot, Usha, for having me here. Very glad to be here in the August company of people who work in the manufacturing setup for so long. Thank you so much. So what I talk about is my experience from ITC because I've not worked anywhere else. Okay, so it is where I've started my career and that is where I am, and I hope I'll finish my career also in the same organization. So, I resonate a lot with what I heard Prasanna say. As an organization, what we provide is career development. What we provide is unique experiences, irrespective of gender. Okay, so therefore, that's the bottom line, and therefore, each and every employee would get that. However, I want to tackle the question of, attraction to manufacturing, and how are we going about that, an attraction of women to manufacturing. And I think there's a thought through strategy there, and I can put it in three buckets. The most important thing in anything, in the corporate world or in our personal life, is a commitment to the cause. So at the very top of the organization, we have a commitment that we will make manufacturing attractive to women employees. We are also saying we'll make it attractive to men. The aspect of manufacturing across the country is going down. People do not want to work in a factory. They want to work on a high street, a 9 to 5 job. So it's an overall social, I will not put it as a social problem, but that is what it is. Therefore, the first thing is our commitment, and therefore all the processes which flow from there. The second thing, and which is I think is also a country related aspect, is the aspect of capacity. That if I want to go hire more and more women, I need to have more and more women in the engineering colleges. I need to have a society which promulgates that girls need to get educated in STEM, and I need to have the family support. So we work on the second aspect of capacity. And if I break that capacity down, what we do, we have for our foods business, we have manufacturing in Trichy, Mysore, Medak, Guwahati, Khurda, and all of these are women majority factories. To just give an example, we have a huge factory in Kapurthala, and the ITI there, we have adopted the ITI in terms of equipment, infrastructure, and we try to see that more and more girls join that ITI, and therefore it increases my sourcing pool. The second thing I do, or the organization does for capacity, is to look at the localized hiring for manufacturing plants. Two reasons we realized that, the first generation girls going to work in a factory, the family has certain aspects they want to be clear on. They want to be clear on safety. They want to know how the working environment is. They want to know that the work that their daughters are doing is good. So when we do a localized hiring, we're able to go across to families and tell them, see, this is how we look like. We invite the family to the factory, have a look at the factory, see what's happening. The third thing in capacity, and I don't think it's an India problem, it's a whole worldwide problem. There are major events in any human being's life. Marriage and children are two important ones. So what we do is when our employees have a life stage change of getting married, we get the spouse also into our manufacturing, say, this is why it is good that your spouse works with us. How will it support you? What will it help? How does your future generation, get advantages out of it. So therefore, we do this 270-degree aspect of org commitment within the organization, capacity for education, for society, and for location. And the third one, which is very important, is capability, which people come from engineering colleges, ITI and all, but you train them on technical skills. Most of them have very decent technical skills, but you also train them on managerial skills. And I'll take an example here. Girls coming to joining the career for the first time many a times don't have role models to look up to for professional life. We run this whole aspect on career intentionality and try to show them role models. Uh, in an India, if you have a Virat Kohli, boys would want to become a cricketer. But more importantly, you also need to have uh, a Smriti Mandana to be shown to girls that this is possible. That is what we try to do, within, because technical skills are there, but the other aspects of girls coming for the first time, it helps. So this 360-degree approach is what we look at. So we have a core of how we are as an organization, and we are superimposing the aspect of capability and capacity onto that to make our factories a place where women would really want to work. And just to give you some numbers, our population of operators, apprentices, and so on and so forth, somewhere in 2017 was 5% of our shop floor population. We are at 30% now. We have a very new factory in Khurda in Orissa where 100% of the operators are women. So that's how we're trying to move towards it. It's not an easy journey. It's a concerted effort because you need to change the mindset. You need to work with families. You need to work with the individual, and the organization should be willing to, run on that
Right.
journey. I
Great.
guess
Thank
that's
you.
the simple sauce.
Wonderful. I think the takeaway from what you just shared with us, Nikhil, is two. One is find that synergy between educational institutes and the organization, where, when you said that you actually adopted the local ITI and provided all the equipment there. So there you start your presence there, actually. And also getting in family to say that this is not an alien atmosphere, and especially after life-changing event like marriage, you also get the spouse to work with ITC along with the spouse. I think these were the two major takeaways. Yes, we will touch upon that a little later too.
So, Usha, if I may,
Please go ahead.
So we don't have the spouse working. We have the spouse
Okay.
coming in and seeing the environment
All
and
right.
figuring out what is the advantage of your wife or your husband being in the factory.
Oh, yes,
Sorry,
I think
just
that buy-in is very important. Right. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me there. Right. So may I now invite Sharanya to share her perspective on strategies that she has come across, she has experienced in terms of attracting and retaining women talent.
Yes, thank you again. It's nice listening to Nikhil, whatever he has shared, it's very interesting, quite interesting. So similarly, we are having this 100% women operated line, whatever he has shared now. So similar kind of thing which we also came across, like when we go for this mechanical engineer in the field, where we were finding very less number of people in the surroundings. So we will recruit the women employees and we will give a technical training and making them very comfortable to work in the desired skill block. Like our line is like completely a chemical driven process operated line. So where the people has to meticulously work there with the presence of mind and everything is needed where they require a technical skill. So this is a key focus where the women can be deployed, and also creating an environment where the women can be having a women-friendly environment or the women-friendly shop floor. They can excel in that. So we are mainly focusing on that two aspects. So this is the key gist of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharanya. Indu, may I request you to share your perspective?
Yeah, thank you for all the panelists for their perspectives and then the ideas regarding this. When I take it my career path, how I interested and then place my career in the manufacturing side is every time when I get an opportunity. That is the thing makes me to interest to show myself in the manufacturing environment. Example, when I start my career in a small scale industry, aluminum die casting, they provide the opportunity during the 2004 period. They place a woman employee in an engineering field, that is an aluminum die casting unit. They place an engineer as a woman. they started to provide an opportunity in those periods. Then second opportunity, when I was placed purely in manufacturing in a Saint-Gobain, the first time they placed me in the particular operation role in the shop floor and then provide me opportunity and then hand holding. Always they providing the hand holding and then they providing the confidence. Even if it goes wrong also, don't worry about that. It's a trial. You can go and then try it. Because first as a woman, we need to first accept and then we need to try it. Without trying and then if you say it's not fit, it's not a right way. Even our dresses also first we need to try and then only we can able to understand how it fit for us and then how it's showing us very good with the point of view of the person. So every time when the opportunity knocks the door, we need to accept and then we need to try that opportunity. That's the thing I followed in my career throughout the things, because that's if when you see in my career, I was a diverse profile with various functions like process industry and then heavy industries and then home appliances. Such a way I crossed all this way. The management provides opportunity to me to go ahead, take it as an opportunity. Please try it. Such a way the management supports and rightly mentioned by Prasanna, it's a mentorship. Always nearly 3 to 4 members in my career, they are very good mentors for me to providing the supports whenever I feel demotivated or personally feels down. During that time they will provide the mentorship, so these things will create me and then provide me the opportunity to sustain myself in the manufacturing field for the past 17 years. This is my insight.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think traditionally speaking, it's not just with women in manufacturing, this being risk averse, whether it is ability to take financial risks or not, but being risk averse. Can I try it? I mean, what if I touch this and something happens? So removing that fear, I think that was that hand holding bit that you shared with us. It may not be applicable to all women, but that was an important point. Important point. Thank you. So now I'd like to move on to individual questions to the panelists. I'd like to start off with you, Prasanna. In your experience, what role have company policies and culture in specific played in fostering gender diversity within the companies that you have worked for?
Yeah, I think knowing about policies, okay, I think I would say like at 5-6 years, I think policies are getting refined and then we are communicating all that. But otherwise, I'm not sure when we started our career, there are as such many policies exist, or it would exist, but maybe it has come into implementation and evolved. All that happened over a period of time. But I would say certain things which, even though if it is not as a part of policies or certain things, as a I work for Saint-Gobain. Within that, I work for Grindwell Norton Limited, which is I would say 75 years old company, and Saint-Gobain is 350 years old company. Even if there are I would say the best part of Saint-Gobain or Grindwell Norton is the culture. So when I say why it is the best part, I think maybe there will be similar stories from Indumati and Saranya as well. When I joined, because as we are all experienced in 17 years, I would take the same. I think you will listen this line very frequently. It is only one woman who has joined at that time 17 years back, and it was only deserted with only 1 or 2 in the canteen. So I think the culture has played very important role. Once I am into the function of WCM. Initially, I have joined in WCM. After that, actually, one of our leadership team, who is a CFO of the Saint-Gobain worldwide now, I should thank him for identifying a potential in me and moved me from the operational excellence. When I say WCM, it has different names: operational excellence, WCM, total TPM, or different terminology, basically for driving the operational excellence. So then that is where I have actually moved to the production. So I had a hesitancy that whether I would be able to perform all that. I would say throughout my career, what worked very well, I would say the culture in which organization has built, and then the way in which my career has been, I would say, nurtured and then given a path for me. And thereon, after initial 5 years, first 5-6 years, I would say the path has been created by the leadership team. by one is leadership team. Yes, they have identified the potential in me. And the second part of the culture, which I would say the shop floor, it's always recently as a part of Careers Day, I was conducting a poll like what comes to your mind when we say about manufacturing. That was one of my question. So most of them has answered it is a male dominated, different factories, different machines. I think we have come long way. As Saranya was telling, I think machine manufacturers itself are making the machines which are women friendly. So that is the best part which was not there maybe many years before. So we get many machines with ergonomics friendly, user friendly, many things. It's not only for women, maybe it was been designed for both men and women also. But otherwise, to just summarize, it was like that for the first 5-6 years, and equally my shop floor team was also very much cooperative. And then I think after some point of time, once we are into the machine now today also, I think they would have forgot that they don't consider that I'm a woman. It means that there is no bias in considering the difference. That's the culture which has been built, which is very best part of the Saint Gobain Grainwell Not Limited. That is on the part of the culture, and particularly on the policies. After last 10 years, I think many policies have come across, particularly on flexible work timings. When I say flexible work timings, actually we have no restriction in coming from even morning 6. For example, a person like me, I'm an early bird, so I can come at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I can work from 7 to 4, or even 8 to 5, or even 9 to 6, or even 10 to 7. I would say it's not like very flexible work timings. As we are in manufacturers, we need to respect the time of the shifts, all that. But at least there is a flexibility of plus or minus 2 hours, which will give a very good advantage for the women to take care of certain things. So flexible work timings is one thing which has helped me. And also there are many other policies which has come across over a period of time, which has definitely helped me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think when it comes to ergonomics, yes, I mean, with advances in technology all over, and also the fact that the minute we say manufacturing, what comes to picture, traditionally the bias would be, oh, you should be lifting a lot of stuff. You need a lot of strength to do that. But that's not the case. I mean, that's not the case so that was wonderful to actually get family in, from ITC's point of view, to get family insight to see what the work actually is to drive away those biases. Thank you, Prasanna. Nikhil, I'd like to move on to you and ask you, especially since you already touched on ITI, what steps can educational institutes take and other vocational training programs take to encourage more young women to pursue careers in manufacturing?
Well, thanks for the question, Usha, and thank you for giving the most difficult one to me. But that's what I think, because see, education in India, and more so for the manufacturing bit, and I'm specifically talking about ITIs, and which give the actual, I will not say manpower, but the workforce to our factories, uh, have many facets to them which need to be fundamentally changed. Okay. The first aspect is that if you look at a diploma level, and this is India data, only 3% is still women, either electrical or mechanical engineering. All right. So the attraction towards these is quite low. So education institutions with themselves will not be able to move the needle much. It has to be the private sector, and it has to be the government which works together to make these courses attractive. That's my first view. The second one is a lot of curriculum development within these ITIs needs to be attuned to the need of the industry. And that is not just for women, it's for men, women, both. So for example, when we work with some of the ITIs, we redesign their food technology course, because I have food factory and I know what we need to do it. And I'm not saying that only ITC Foods will recruit. Foods is a huge industry in India. There are enough and more job opportunities available. So if the private sector works with the education sector to build some courses, the capacity increases and people get employment. The third part, which is more important, is, and someone said in the beginning that, there is a lot now on social media and availability of what needs to happen and all. The razzmatazz around ITIs or engineering colleges and these courses needs to really glow up. And I'm also from a generation before all my hair is white. I think people are really influenced by social media. It took me 2-3 years to believe that, but I think they do. A lot of work, if it happens there, a lot of people get attracted, and lastly, and most importantly, many ITIs you go to, fundamental things like a proper washroom, a proper place for privacy and things like that, very, very fundamental things. electric lighting on the roads around them for safety. Simple things, not very difficult, but people don't think, they're not top of the mind. Those aspects, you put these bricks together, I think a proper wall and a proper foundation will come across in few years. I think that's
Yes,
what I
yes,
believe.
I would agree, especially when it comes to infrastructures. I think those would be a thing of past. I remember handling a training session on non-conscious biases in a manufacturing company a couple of years ago, and I could not find a restroom for women. So because that location, everybody was male. So that was, and that struck me. And I was conducting a program on non-conscious biases on how that particular company should be getting in more women into their workforce. So I said, this is the moment of truth. That was the moment of truth for the organization there. Anyway, so for me, that was a point that I could drive across very well. So I would like to now move on to Indu. Indu, how do you learn and relearn when you move from one manufacturing company to another?
Actually, when I say from learn to relearn myself, the first thing is I practice that acknowledge the adaptability. That's when I enter into any new organizations. First thing, moving from one company to another company, the high degree of adaptability is the main thing we need to have. So because they have a unique culture, particular organization having a unique cultures, they have a tools, process. So those things first we need to adapt. And then second thing, what I normally doing is initial assessment and then the learning. First, when I enter into the join any company, first step, I assess the current environment, how the people is, how the process, how familiarize myself with the company goals. Those things first I will assess the environment and then all those things with the dynamic side, that is the dynamic tools, how they are adapting those things and then technologies, then only I can leveraging my existing knowledge, because without knowing and then assessing, I couldn't able to leveraging myself and then my knowledge, I couldn't able to make it. So that's thing I will practice normally when I move on from one to another organization. And then third one is the active engagement. Normally, we are, if you are posted in any of the positions, we are only engaged with those level only. No, I always engaged with the people from the low level to high level, having a good engagement and then attending the meetings and then observing how the senior peoples are showing their experience when they're handling the different scenarios. Those things is the main thing to adapt ourselves in the different scenarios and then the learnings. And then the fourth one is each and every organizations having a unique tools and methodologies. So those things I learned and then I applied to the particular each and every manufacturing sites. That shows my confidence and then sustain myself and then make it successful in the particular organizations. Even I was in the different diverse functions and then the diverse product, the tools and technology applications and then the knowledge is the major played a role to sustain myself in the each and every organization. Even it's a, because the tools and methodologies are common even when we go with any type of products or any type of functions, the methodology is the same. We can adapt and then we can knowledge. That's makes me the sustainability and then make them to successful in different scenarios. And then the cumulative knowledge and experience allows me to handle these all those things and make it efficiently to drive the team, people, process, and all those things. And one more thing is, I learned the best thing in my past organization is one of the organizations giving the every year there is a job rotations. So even in the particular inside the organizations, every at least 2 years once we will get a job rotation. That provides the confidence to sustain at any situation, any functions, because we need to, there is a cross-functional knowledge we can apply. The existing knowledge we can apply, and then we can new learnings also we can learn from that. It's a win-win situation. And also it shows the confidence and develops the process-oriented organization. It's not be a always focus on the subject matter expert. So that gives me confidence to we can go anywhere at any functions, any product line, I can able to sustain.
Right. So
That
I
confidence
got two things from your description, Indu. Is one is self-motivation, which is be curious, be open to learning. given that if you're comfortable, you have to come out of your comfort zone. And second, an organization impetus which says that I will give you job rotation, no choice. You have to move from one role to another role or another function or whatever, where you are forced to learn. So it also becomes in a sense of surviving. And yes, it will lead to ultimately it lead to a spiral growth within the company, which is very good. So these two things are important for learning and relearning. Thank you for sharing that. Now I'd like to move to Sharanya. Uh, are there any innovative approaches, or technologies that can help overcome the physical and cultural barriers that women often face in manufacturing environments?
Yes, it's a very interesting question. Actually, it's really there are of course there are physical barriers as well as the cultural barriers for when it comes to the traditional job where men only taken care and now the women is taking care. So I would like to take you through one of the presentation, which is a very live example of how we are doing in our shop floor. So can I share it now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes.
So those of us who have been posting questions on the chat window, we will be having a short duration towards the end of our session today to answer those questions. So please keep typing your questions.
Sure. So, coming to the, the physical barriers, whatever the women is focusing, facing in the environment, like in the shop floor. So we were doing a innovative study, like understanding the shop floor, and we had taken the help from the research and development team, and we took the help from the anthropologist, and we studied thoroughly the work environment at the shop floor, where the woman is going through each and every activity in the process line, and how we can avoid this physical barriers which they are facing in the shop floor. Like we did a proper study for the 2 months, interviewing every woman in working in the shop floor in the terms of emotional challenges and the ergonomic challenges, whatever they are facing, and finding an engineering solution in place and keeping them very flexible to work in the environment. Not only this, we are also focusing on psychosocial support. We are focusing on giving them the psychosocial support by providing many of the facilities, which is very, very flexible for the women to be in the shop floor. Like, for example, we are having a weekend leave. That this is just 1 day leave in a month. And there is no need for them to explain to their manager about this leave. And then we have created a very wonderful hush space. We call it as a hush space, which is like a resting area, which is inside our shop floor, where you can see in the picture also, where they can go and rest over there and take a power nap for 10 minutes and come back to their work back. So this is like a during the 8 hours continuous physical work, they don't have to get fatigue over there and come back to their shop floor, and quickly it's like a refreshing area. So, and also to create that work environment, which is like as Prasanna mentioned, there were only very few women working in the campus. Instead of that, we have created women to work in every area. In this resting room, we have a paramedic, which is she will be in there 24/7 for all the 3 shifts, and the women working in the canteen and women escort. And we have a separate infrastructure development, as you have mentioned. The infrastructure is very keen, and we have developed the infrastructure in such a way that we have improvised the resting rooms, the restroom facilities available for them, and the transport facilities, dedicated transport facilities for them to come and pick up and drop in their location. And these are all the key focuses which is very simple, and it has improved them to work. When I go and ask them right now, after all these improvements of all these engineering solutions in place, they are finding it very happy to work in this place. And also they are they are in a motivation stage, like they can do further more. They are asking for more improvements to be done in the line. And also they are very, very motivated to move it forward. So coming back to the cultural barriers, it's like awareness and communication, policy enhancement, and developing expertise. Like the training part is very important in this. In that, most of the thing is the technical training, which we are going to give to the team in a way, like they have to be hands-on in the job to have a support mechanism. Once they are confident in doing what they are doing in the job, they will be very happy to work in the area. And also we have created an exposure, like they can able to go and visit the other lines where the women are working, like taking an example, for example, taking the example from the nowhere place, rather than taking the example from the real field or the real colleagues or the senior women working inside the shop floor, inside the campus. And we have taken them to the SGRI where the women or women scientists are working, to give them the exposure, like the women can go their career from the apprentice level to the next level, like they can even participate in the research activities and all. So this kind of exposure we have given them in their career development. And also the basic unconscious bias workshops, not only for the women, and also it has been given to the men employees. And especially we have created a program called SG Saki. It is like a mentor mentee program where each and every woman, they are like kids, they are the apprentices, just finished their colleges and coming and joining in the organization and taking care of a tough men handling job. We have created a ecosystem, like they can look upon for the senior mentors in the line, in the other department and other functions. This ST Saki program is like they can talk to the other women in the campus, and they can get the inputs from them and get explored about the career development and everything. And the other factor is the professional growth. Once they are able to sustain in this area, and when coming back to their professional growth, they can look upon the digitalization in the process, where this digitalization in the process making them very easy and flexible to take upon to the next level. And also as a personal development and in their career, building an allyship and the leadership programs they are going through, and other technical trainings by the subject matter expertise. These are all bringing them the confidence that they can do this job more confidently. And also we have taken them to the outbounded training, so as to create the team building activities among them. And the next level is we have after our implementation of all these projects and the improvements they are building into the process, and it has been taken to the external forums where they can explore their own potential to the other businesses and other areas. And it is giving them the other confidence, like they can even do the far better in their career. And it is all this kind of physical barriers and the cultural barriers is getting broken, and still we are in a progress, like still we can find more improvements to be done in the line. So this is just a glimpse of what we have done. I
Yes,
have
I
shared.
think, thank you for sharing this, Sharanya. I think apart from the ergonomical improvements that have come out, what has come out in this particular sharing that you have had with us is the employee engagement. So very
Yes.
specifically, and since you touched upon SD Sakhi, the mentor-mentee relationship, I have a common question for all our panelists. Prasanna already shared that in terms of mentorship, there was a CFO in her initial days who actually provided that mentorship and provided the inspiration to grow. So if you could just maybe I could start with you, Sharanya. I mean, can you take one example, specific example of how somebody mentored you and you were able to grow and overcome a particular challenge, something that you'd like to
Yes,
share.
of course. Yes, of course. I would say, like a mentor is a person who can be, even your sponsor can be your mentor, which is very important in your when your immediate boss or your manager is your mentor, who is very keen in improving your career, who is keen in improving and developing your technical skills and giving you an opportunity to decide what you want to do in your career. And this is like he will be the best example for me, I would say, like in my growth in my career. So far I mean I have started my career as a production manager, I mean a shift leader. From shift leader till now I'm leading a team, like I'm heading this whole operations. So in throughout my career, I would say, like I have different mentors in different stages. Right now, at this stage, as a leader, as a leadership position, when I'm there, this mentorship which my sponsor is giving, no, it is giving me more confidence that I can move forward to the next level. There is no discrimination even for this biggest initiative, gender diverse program, where 100% women operated line can be operated. And the confidence he has put on me, on my potential to lead this team, is it's tremendous. It's mainly because that mentor only can give you that confidence to take it forward. This is just happened in 2 years time. This whole
Okay.
transformation of this
Okay.
22 years old line, which is operated by man, has completely transferred into women. And
Women is
all this is because the support by the leadership team and the
absolutely.
mentorship given.
Absolutely. So at every stage, we look, a mentorship helps actually at every stage,
Yes.
not just early career or mid career. At a leadership position, also mentorship helps. So,
Yes.
Nikhil, asking you in particular, so from in your experience, probably implementing a mentor-mentee initiative or mentorship, is there something that you can share that ITC does on this front?
Thanks for the question. So, see, I'll take a step back. We are an organization which doesn't buy talent usually. We build from within, which basically means that I will hire from campuses, I'll hire from ITI, I will develop my own talent, which doesn't usually happen in the world right now. So, because as a philosophy, we are a build talent from within. We have a concept of mentorship and all, but it is my bloody role as a manager to develop people. You don't have an option. Okay, so the organization is grown up like that. So every level, every step, my performance appraisal will have development of people. People at the junior most level will not have that. First step up will always have development of people. So like if you have to manufacture chips and biscuits, you have to manufacture the next line of leadership. You will not get promoted till you develop people. So therefore,
Well,
I would
right.
not put it in a bucket of a mentorship program and all, but it's the way of life. You will have to work that way. So there's no other way. Like, for example, if you take a sports team, you have a coach and you have a captain, vice captain, and, people move from being a debutant to a bowler or a batswoman and things like that. The organization, because it's a 105-year-old organization, because it promulgates build from within, mentorship isn't a part of the DNA. Mentorship, sponsorship, management, whatever you call it, it is the way of life. So it's not a different program per se. So
Understood.
that's at least how it works for us. I know a lot of other organizations have reaped a lot of benefit by putting a mentorship program in place, because that gets an anchor to everyone around and you develop talent to grow to the next level. I've heard someone say, and this is from a big multinational company, that the objective of the managers there is to make themselves redundant. Because if you've made yourself redundant, that means the next line takes over and then you
Absolutely.
move to the next. So
Right.
that's at least the concepts I have in mind in these aspects.
So it's like in various in companies, some companies have come across where there's no HR. Every manager has to play the role of an HR.
The
You
Indian
know?
Army doesn't have a nature.
Yeah, there you go. Right. Okay. So I'd like to ask Indu, you did mention that across companies you've come across, but any specific instance in your life where life changed for the better when you had some mentoring done?
Yes, Usha. Actually, like how Saranya has told and then Nicholas told, we have a managers is always playing a role as a mentor. But I will tell you the different scenario. That is one example I will clearly give. When I was in my old organization, it's a Caterpillar. One of my mentor, I'm not dedicatedly spending any time as a one-on-one and then getting a mentorship, all those things. Whenever I want to discuss something, we will always spend a time during my lunch hours and then the breakfast hours in the canteen. I will share my views and then he will provide me the mentorship, like how to handle some situation. It's a general things. And also one more thing is the best way when I get the mentorship from him is through here, whenever I feel the bias side or somewhere when I feel the demotivated or when I was in the downside, when normally I will enter into the LinkedIn. He is a very good person, active person in a LinkedIn, and then he will post the most of the motivated messages in the LinkedIn. It's a general for motivated messages. But when I enter into the LinkedIn, always it's linked with my situations, and then it gives me boost up and then the confidence when I read the situations, because he give the practical scenarios like how the Mahabharata and then Ramayana and then general normal happening in our day-to-day life. He will take it some examples and then providing the some solutions and then that is the thoughts about those scenarios. So when I enter into the LinkedIn, always I will get. So the mentorship is not like only having with the managers. We can get the mentorship with the out of our organizations also. We can get it as a mentorship, and also we can select anybody as our well-wishers, and then we can through like our social medias also we can select some best mentors and then we can motivate ourselves. This is a different
Absolutely.
scenario I experienced.
Right.
Normally, I have a mentors also, but even though this is a scenario that motivates me in a different scenarios.
So I think it's broadly speaking what we are going to seek and you shall find. The universe actually conspires to provide you with what you really seek for. I think that's yes, that's quite at a philosophical level. But thank you. It shows. I think Indu, as a professional, you're pretty enterprising to go and seek. I think to make use of the opportunities that are there. Now we are towards the end of our session today. So I would like to ask my panelists one common question again to wrap up this session before we move on to the questions that have been posted on the chat window. One piece of advice for aspiring women in the manufacturing field. And I'd like to start with you, Nikhil. What is that one piece of advice you'd like to give aspiring women in the manufacturing field?
So first of all,
So I would
I don't think I'm competent enough to advise any woman, first thing, but I'll try to answer this a little differently. To me, professionally, and I will say professionally more, at the end of the day, it is all about competence. And competence triumphs everything else. You are competent, you build your competence, you'll get respect, you'll get authority, the world will listen to you. The most difficult people bow down to competence. To me, that's it. And it's nothing to do with a gender. It's to do with a
Absolutely.
man,
Yes, and
woman. That's it.
show
So
your
to me, that's
competence.
what it
Be
is. Yeah.
good at what you're doing. That's it. Be
Absolutely.
absolutely super good. Yes. Prasanna, what would you say?
Yeah, I think manufacturing is a very interesting and very dynamic and evolving industry where there are numerous opportunities. And maybe I think if someone is having a perception of only manufacturing machines, I think it's not. I think apart from machines, there are many things which we can do. And I think manufacturing industries are evolving in a very rapid speed. I think I would say, like, as resonating with the theme of today's session, I think progressive paths are being made in the industries in terms of policies, in terms of mentorship programs, many things. I think I would suggest the women who are there in this connect or something. I think industry is evolving. I think there are numerous opportunities. I think you need to kill that. I think this is one of the message. Keep our leadership teams tell, kill your guilt, shame, and fear. So never have the guilt, I think, which probably women have more for different reasons. Guilt, shame, and fear. I think we need to kill that. I think being after so many years also, I also still working on this three things. I think women should work on these three things and then go forward.
Yes, that's very specific. Yes, having been there and done that, yes, it's like, especially for mothers out there, it's something that's given. I think guilt is a given. Okay, so Sharanya, moving on to you. What is that one piece of advice you'd like to give?
Yeah, I would make it very crisply, like competency is very important. Be very competent, grab the opportunity, and be very determined and be the grit of it. So this is the three important things I would say for any woman in the manufacturing. Be competent, grab the opportunity, and do it with the grit.
Absolutely. Thank you. Indu?
Maybe I have a different perspective from Nikhil and Saranya. Competency can be developed. So don't think about I have a competent for this job or not. Don't think. Have a breaking the barriers, self barriers you need to break, and then go ahead with your willingness. If you are interest and then if you have a willingness, go and then get it, and then you can develop the competency, and then you can show yourself. So don't
That's
think
okay.
I have. Yeah, that is my point of view.
No,
So don't
absolutely. I
think
think
about
that's
competency. It
it's
can be
important.
developed.
It's
Yeah,
it's
competency
like you're
always we can develop.
It's like more a lot of people in HR believe that you hire for attitude and train for skills. So that's one way to look at it. Okay, thank you so much. Wonderful. I wish we had more time to delve into some experiences that you have had in the manufacturing segment, especially to the women panelists here. So we have two questions here. Why HR? Why HR is hiring another HR from manufacturing industry? Also, why not from any other industry, even after having knowledge about factory laws? Anybody would like to answer that? Maybe
I can try answering, but I didn't understand the question. Usha, can you help me?
is that why
Yes.
HR in a manufacturing company looks at HR only from manufacturing, another manufacturing, not from any other industry?
So I can't answer for other organizations. I'll answer for ITC, and I'll take my own example. I've started my career in Calcutta with the sales HR function. I did that for 2 years, and then I moved to our cigarette manufacturing factory in Saharanpur, which is around 90 years old. Post that, I've gone back to the corporate office, and then I went to Ranjangaon, which is near Pune, and I was heading HR in a factory again. So we've had people moving across. I don't think we at
Functions.
least have silos of that, but
Okay.
I can't comment on other places.
So it's not so it is very specific. It's not that all manufacturing companies only look for HR from manufacturing backgrounds. So thank you,
I don't
Nikhil.
think so.
Yeah. So maybe Prasanna, you could take the next question. Women are comfortable to work in shifts in other industries, especially in ITS, but not very comfortable in manufacturing. What factors or initiatives can change this scenario?
Yeah, I think Saranya has put it across all the things which are happening in manufacturing very nicely, and which I also know about it. And then in Saint Gobain, it keeps happen. I think working in shifts, I think equally, whatever the policies which exist in the IT industry, it exists in the manufacturing as well. It depends on when to start those policies and where. When we have a group of people and when we are equipped with operating three shifts, I think there are many policies which are there. I think 10 years ago it was not there for sure, and now I think the groups number of people are increasing, and we have a number of policies like dropping the I think vehicle related to the vehicle policy, related to the security policy, related to the canteen, V-care facility, and the restroom, and then certain things. I think there are companies, and Saint Gobain, or even what we hear, not only Saint Gobain, I think when we know across, I think companies are doing numerous things to equip the manufacturing facility to operate in 3 shifts. I think I have seen how it has been evolved over a period of time, and I would say with all these, there are many industries which are very much comfortably set up for the 3-shift manufacturing.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. We're just towards the end of time now.